So far we have taken a look at how to give member data, and there we are saying this is the member and this is the class, and we know there is some restriction on the member type that it should be returning IEnumerable. Now similar to member type, there is one more way to define the data source, and that is class data. So if we define class data, then ultimately we have to tell what is the class which can supply the data for this method. So here the way we have to write is we write type of, and we have to give that class name. So we have created another class, login test data manager, and we say this class will act as the data source for our method. Now this class will have some restriction. Now this is advanced feature of XUnit. It imposes some conditions for this class so that it can be working as a data supplier for some of the test methods. So we'll paste as per the rules and regulations that this class, the first rule says it should extend, or sorry, it should implement the interface IEnumerable. So if it is implementing this interface, that means it has to provide implementation of these two methods, and one is get enumerator and another is one is generic and another one is not generic. So we have to give implementation of both these functions, and that is what we are doing. And in nutshell, we have kept one data source here locally so that we can construct the data source. So here we can say this is kind of static test data manager, because here we are hard coding. Later on, if we need dynamic, we can inherit from this IEnumerable, and rather than writing this hard-coded code in the constructor, we will change it to read it from Excel or from different types of data sources. But this should give us a fair idea of that one test case that we have, one test class that we have, it can get the data from the class rather than the member data. If we go ahead and build the solution, and we take a look at our test explorer, then we see all these 6 test cases are being shown, which are coming from login test with class data. Fair. So this is another way of binding a class to our test rather than having it like member data.